Hi there, I'm Andy and this is Amber. You're watching Camper Camera Go. Today I'm going to be talking about how I came to buy a motorhome. So Andy, what made you buy a motorhome? People often ask me. Usually followed by, can I borrow it? So I thought today I would talk about the things that led up to me buying a motorhome. It all started a couple of years ago when I'd gone out in the car to take some photos of a meteor shower, and it's an electric car, and so I'd been out all night and I'd ended up at Fort William needing to charge the car, which takes around about half an hour, 40 minutes. So while it was charging, having been up all night, I decided to go and have a lie down in the back of the car, folded the seats flat and lay out, and I was actually quite surprised at how much room there was in there because it's not a particularly big car, and it started me thinking along the lines of if I could put some flat boards down just to extend the space up to the back of the front seats when they're folded forward, I could probably lie full length in here. And so the cogs started whirring after I'd woke up, obviously, and I drew out some quick sketches of plans to make up a set of 3 boards that would stack on top of each other in the boot when the car was in normal use, but then could be laid out when I wanted to convert it into a sleeping space. I wanted the boards to have a good finish that looked and felt nice, so I put some carpet tiles down on the one face just to give them a nice look, and also that little bit of comfort when you were lying on them. And on top of that as well, I also had camping mattresses and then just a big double sleeping bag on top. Having made up the boards, I then started to think about a few other creature comforts. I'd already got a 12-volt cool box, and so I looked to see if that could fit in, and conveniently it slotted in just behind the passenger seat and also acted as a handy support for the front edge of one of the boards. Behind the driver's seat I then put in some plastic storage boxes which also supported the front of the board, so I didn't need to make any separate supports, they would just rest on the top of those items. In addition to the cool box, I'd also got a single burner camping stove which I thought would be ideal to use on trips out. So I found a place where that could be stored, and I was starting to think of where can I actually use it, because I didn't want to use it within the vehicle itself for safety reasons. So I then started thinking about making a replacement for the parcel shelf with a slide out section that I could use for food preparation and for cooking. It was surprisingly effective and comfortable, and I went away for a few trips in it that year. I even managed to persuade Eileen to come away with me one time, and I think she enjoyed it more than either of us expected, despite the fact that she really badly tore one of her fingernails first thing in the morning. That then started the conversation about when that car was due for replacement, what would we then get? So we started looking at things like Citroen Berlingos and Fiat Doblos, with the idea of just a normal family car, but with a bit more headroom, just to make it a little bit more comfortable and practical when it was being used for camping trips. The idea was that we would use that just as a direct replacement for the electric car, which was a bit disappointing in some ways because I really did enjoy driving the electric car and its environmental benefits. We were on our way actually to look at a Fiat Doblo, and on the way there we were passing a place that did camper van conversions, and so I said to Eileen, let's just pop in on the way past and see what's on offer and what sort of prices they are, because I really had no clue at that stage. And the first vehicle that we saw that we really liked was a Mazda Bongo. The interior of it had been done really nice. It looked kind of like an American diner. But when we looked at it a bit more critically, we realised that really for 4 of us and 2 dogs, there just wasn't enough space. And so we then went and looked at some VW transporters in various styles inside. We really liked the VWs, and we were so impressed that we went away and talked about it, and we'd almost made the decision that we were going to go for one when I said to Eileen, but for the same kind of money you can get a motorhome. Eileen's initial reaction wasn't positive at all, because she'd been away as a child in a motorhome, and I think she was imagining the sort of dated interiors of 1990s motorhomes. But we went and looked at one which was just about the same kind of price as the VW, and I think instantly when she saw the space available, she realised that it was a much more practical living space for us as a family. We went away to think about it a bit more and to have a look around a few other motorhomes. To be fair, we didn't actually look at that many. I did a lot of online research. We went to a place in Perth and looked at some that they had, and the one that caught my eye in particular, and I think Eileen really liked as well, was a Rollerteam 746 that had just finished its season as a hire vehicle and was then being sold off. We looked at a few others and came away. I dithered over the weekend, and eventually I phoned back up on the Monday or Tuesday, but I was already too late and it was gone. So that kind of put us back to square one. So I spent another few weeks looking around on the internet, but I never found anything that looked like a better deal or a more suitable motorhome for us than that Rollerteam 746. And so eventually I started thinking about the idea of, rather than buying a used one, to actually order one new, and that was eventually what we did, and we ordered, I think, in about December time for delivery towards the end of April of 2018. The actual delivery date slipped into May, but we picked it up on the 11th of May last year and started our adventures. I'm going to give you a quick tour now of the motorhome, just pointing out some of its features. It's not going to be an extensive van review. I might do one of them later on, but for now, just a quick tour to introduce you to our motorhome. So Amber says the heart of the motorhome is the vehicle that it's based on, and she chose the Fiat Ducato with the 130 horsepower engine, and she says that that's just about adequate for this size of motorhome. It's 7.5 metres, and I think one of the things that I would specify in future on a motorhome of this size would be a slightly more powerful engine. The rear lounge layout was one of the things that most appealed to us about this motorhome, along with lots of storage space up above for all of our clothes and food and other general items. We went for the upgraded leather look upholstery, just so that it wipes clean nice and easily. With having kids and dogs, that's a definite big plus. But we do keep some throws over the seat cushions as well, just to protect it from mucky dogs and inadvertent scratches from their claws as well. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's raining quite heavily at the moment, and it's quite dull. But despite that, it is still quite nice and bright inside the motorhome, and that was one of the things that appealed to us. It's got a nice, bright, open, airy feel to it. It's got the usual 3-ring burner cooktop and medium-sized sink alongside it, with a mixer tap for hot and cold water. A bit of a food prep area at the side, some drawers below it for pots and pans, plates, cutlery, all that kind of thing. Small oven and grill, and a reasonable sized fridge with a freezer compartment as well. It's got a reasonable sized bathroom with the chemical toilet, vanity hand basin, and a shower that you can just about manage to have a shower in. Obviously there's not a lot of space in there, but it's always a trade-off between how much space you're going to allocate for the bathroom that you spend a small portion of your time in versus your actual living space. There's a nice dining area which will comfortably sit 4 people in its standard configuration. You can extend it out by pulling out some slides at the side of the seats and fitting a table extension to fit 6 people. It is belted for 6 people, and so it is a fully practical 6-berth motorhome. You've got a king size bed up above the cab in the drop down up there, and also at the back the seating area converts into a massive super king size bed, which is really comfortable as well. As you can see, Amber loves it. When we ordered the motorhome, we specified some extras like an extra leisure battery and an inverter, which enabled us to run some 240 volt appliances like the microwave and the kettle. But one of the things we appreciated most when we were away in Europe last summer was the desk fan, which although we didn't have any air conditioning, at least enabled us to get a bit of a breeze flowing. The temperatures were hitting 40 degrees C at times during the day, and it wasn't much cooler at night either. There's not really much to say from the outside. It's just a pretty standard Rollerteam 746 and not much different from any other over cab motorhome based on the Fiat Ducato chassis. One of the things that we did have fitted by the supplying dealer, Go European, before we picked it up was refillable gas system, which lives in the gas locker. The fill point just down here to the left, so you can fill up at a petrol station that sells LPG for running like cars and other vehicles on. It's a gas flow system with 2 11 kilo bottles, and the black thing in the middle is just a emergency kit with like warning triangle and high-vis vests and first aid kit. We've also got a first aid kit inside the motorhome and another set of vests as well, because some European countries insist on you being able to put the vests on before leaving the vehicle. So that's covered. Normal entry exit door, the vents to the right for the cooker and the fridge, and then at the back we've got garage access on this side. In there we've got all of our stuff that we tend to carry with us, so that we're ready for having fun when we get to where we're going. We've got some folding chairs, a couple of inflatable canoes, a pair of wellies. Obviously in Scotland you're going to need a pair of wellies, a freestanding rotary washing line and washing machine. It's a twin tub washing machine, so even when we're not connected up to mains electric, we can run it from the inverter and do some of our washing. If you're away for a couple of weeks at a time, it's really good that you're not having to rely on trying to find a laundrette. We asked for a full length awning to be fitted, and it's a Fiamma awning that winds out from the side. It gives a bit of shade or shelter. There's a bike rack which will take up to 4 bikes, and above the window a reversing camera, which is really useful, especially on a vehicle of this size when you can't see anything worthwhile out of the back window from the driver's seat. Another door into the storage locker on this side. In there's the electric hookup lead and the fill hose for the water. Access door for the chemical toilet is there, and to the right of it the fresh water fill up, and then just to the right again is the vent from the central heating system. I hope you enjoyed that quick look around our motorhome and the story behind how we came to buy it. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. Remember to subscribe and click on the notification icon if you want to hear when my next video comes out. You can see more of my photography on my website, andyhorphoto.com, and I'm also on Facebook and Instagram as Andy Hor Photography. I'm Andy, this is Camper Camera Go. Thanks for watching and hope to see you next time.